She's telling us how to fight ISIS. Just go to her website. She tells you how to fight ISIS on her website. I don't think General Douglas MacArthur would like that too much.
Well, at least I have a plan to fight ISIS.
No, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do.
No, we're not.
See, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do. No wonder you've been fighting. No wonder you've been fighting ISIS your entire adult life.
So who won the debate last night on the issue of national security? Ryan Mauro is a national security analyst at the Clarion Project and a professor of counter-terrorism at Liberty University. So when we heard last night, we heard Hillary Clinton. We talked about cyber attacks, ISIS. He said that the Middle East is a mess, said that it's not working. Your thoughts? Who actually brought this to the fruition and who won this one?
Well, regardless of who I agree with on this policy or that policy, I thought Hillary Clinton massacred him. I mean, really.
Massacred him. Strong words.
Yes,
How?
I've used that word repeatedly to describe it because I'm in shock at what I saw. Really, just there were no specifics at all. It didn't seem like he was prepared at all. He has some of the best advisors I would love to see helping run the country.
Right.
And I didn't see any evidence that he absorbed information from them. So I didn't see a commander-in-chief listening to his advisors. What I saw was someone that would probably not pass the counterterrorism class that I teach.
And two counterpoints to that. The first one being Trump's whole thing was, I'm not doing mock debates, I have to come across as natural. And the second point being, and something you heard in the soundbite coming into this segment, was him saying, look, I'm not going to tell you my whole plan because that tells ISIS our plan.
Well, don't tell them what target you're going to bomb. I don't think anyone would say that, but she was saying intensify airstrikes, increase support to Arab and Kurdish forces, some big picture things that ISIS could never do anything with. He's got to do better than that. I was really just shocked at some of the things I was seeing. Again, considering that some of his advisors tempt me to vote for him, and I see that as a big plus in his favor. But I got to wonder, was he talking to them before this debate?
Well, when we talk about cyber attacks, we talk about ISIS, and also homegrown terror was another factor that was mentioned by Lester Holt, the moderator. But big picture, when you talk about her plans going forward, he made the point that it's not really working, and the Middle East is a mess, and we're paying off Iran and other countries, and that's not working, and that something needs to change. Do you think that resonates with voters, and does it make sense to you since this is your specialty?
Sure. Well, I think it does resonate with voters to say, look, I'm just different. You've been dealing with the same political class over and over again. And stylistically, it does mean a lot when you come off tough like him. When he says, I'm going to knock the hell out of ISIS, that's the type of language I think most people want to hear. And in some ways, that can have a positive effect. But then you also have to follow that up with saying, well, I've had some type of basic plan. Let me show you that I know what I'm doing. I'm not sure that came across. Hopefully next time he does better.
All right, let's bring in Larry Korb now, a senior fellow at the Center for American Progress and a former Assistant Secretary of Defense. Hi, Larry. Thanks for calling in to us this morning. We have Ryan Mauro here on set. And, Larry, I wanted to ask you a question first about Iran. I didn't hear much in the debate last night about Hillary Clinton touting the deal that we have with Iran and the nation's progress with making relations better there. Is that because she knows the public might be not as supportive of it, or maybe it was a bad deal?
No, I think what's happened is that it hasn't stopped Iran's other behavior. For example, they've been testing ballistic missiles. They're still aiding, Assad in Syria. She emphasized the fact that we didn't have to go to war, to stop them with their nuclear weapons, or having an arms race a nuclear arms race in the Middle East that like the Saudis might get the weapons.
She sounded like she was playing down one particular thing that we've shown on Fox many times, and that's how the ships have been taunting our ships, U.S. ships. And it seemed like she played that particular piece of information, which has happened more frequently, despite the fact that we've been giving them exorbitant amounts of money.
In fact, what she tried to do was to show that Trump was irresponsible because she accused him of overreacting to that and starting a war. Unfortunately for him, he didn't follow up. I mean, he did briefly by saying, well, they're harassing us, and how long are we going to put up with this? Or quote, people like some of our Navy leaders. So I think he could have made that point, but he didn't. She pushed him. I mean, she tried to paint him as the one being overreacting and not being reasonable in his approach.
All right. Well, Ryan Mauro, Larry Korb, thank you both for joining us. National security, obviously, a top subject that we continue to follow in cyber warfare and how that might play into the elections. We have a lot more on all of this coming up after the break. Keep it right here on Fox Biz.